Technology is a double-edged dagger. It's one of the core themes of Black Mirror, and in expanding this theme, the show has also made accurate predictions about humanity's relationship with tech. Today on ScreenRant, here are 7 times Black Mirror eerily predicted the future. Back in 2013, Black Mirror Season 2, Episode 1 proposed an idea which at the time seemed completely impossible and preposterous.
You could have left me some clothes.
In the episode Be Right Back, a woman named Martha agrees to test a service to digitally resurrect her boyfriend Ash, who had died in a recent car accident. Over a decade later, this novel sci-fi concept has almost fully transitioned into reality. Today, companies like Silicon Intelligence are leading the way in so-called grief technology. Much like in Be Right Back, the process involves collecting data from the deceased person's social media, correspondences, and other online sources. And not unlike when the episode first aired in 2013, the technology rekindled debates in 2024 about the ethics of simulating deceased human beings, whose consent is obviously impossible to attain. In fact, even the full-blown Android version of Ash in Be Right Back doesn't seem all that impossible today. Speaking of which, this brings us to the next big Black Mirror prediction. In the 7th ever episode of Black Mirror, the 2014 special White Christmas, 2 men named Matt and Joe speak in a cabin in the woods, and Joe eventually confesses to killing his ex-wife's husband and then leaving their daughter to freeze to death. However, Matt then reveals that Joe is just a digital clone and that his testimony will be used to send the real Joe to prison for life. To be fair, the exact circumstances of this episode haven't exactly happened yet in the real world. However, the aforementioned grief technology emerging from AI startups already lays the groundwork for digital cloning, and combined with the current capabilities of deep fake videos, AI assistants, and cutting-edge data storage modules, modern society theoretically already has the technology to create digital clones. Moreover, with the successful integration of AI-driven data gathering for collecting legal evidence, the plot of White Christmas isn't so unrealistic now in 2025. In fact, digital cloning would actually be way easier than this next technology that Black Mirror predicted. In a way, all of the cutting-edge tech featured in Black Mirror are leading towards this unrealized scientific achievement. However, the concept of uploading the whole mind is only truly explored in Season 3, Episode 4, San Junipero. In an unusually wholesome episode of Black Mirror, the minds of lovers Yorkie and Kelly are fully uploaded into the San Junipero simulation, and there, they lived happily ever after in the digital realm, bits of data that somehow still retain the entirety of their humanity. Although real scientists are still far from actually performing such a procedure, research into the matter has already begun. Less than a year after San Junipero first streamed in 2016, Elon Musk launched Neuralink publicly in 2017, and today, Neuralink is the company that's leading the way in developing the tech to somehow upload the human mind as digital data. But don't get too excited. There is currently no viable way to actually do this. Researchers have had very minor success in worms that have an average of around 300 neurons. And as humans typically have 86 billion neurons inside our heads, even Neuralink is quite far from solving this problem. On the other hand, it's entirely possible that AI models can speed up this process exponentially, as aggregating data is a huge part of the task. So while it hasn't happened yet, the mind uploading technology in San Junipero is already on its way to the real world. And this actually isn't the only tech from Black Mirror that Neuralink is dragging into reality. The foundational technology of Neuralink is an implant that aims to function much like a modern smartphone, except conveniently implanted inside one's head. And years before Neuralink went public in 2017, in the 3rd episode of Season 1, The Entire History of You, Liam and Fionn are a couple implanted with the grain, which records all of their audiovisual memories live. Throughout the episode, they then play back specific instances when they fight, eventually leading Liam to discover Fionn's infidelity.
Actually, it turns out we're tired, and I guess we forgot, but now we've remembered, so sorry.
Apart from Neuralink, a fledgling version of this technology also came out in 2013 in the form of Google Glass, which has similar audiovisual recording capabilities and connectivity as Black Mirror's Grain. In relation to this, it was also in 2013 when the Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal broke out, which revealed how corporate entities were illegally aggregating personal online data. Combined with the possibilities of tech like Neuralink and the Grain, The Entire History of You is low-key among the most terrifying episodes of Black Black Mirror. That said, even the grain seems tame compared to this next Black Mirror prediction. We know what you're thinking. Black Mirror wasn't exactly the first to explore militarized droids with terrifying agility. However, Season 4, Episode 5, Metalhead notably features a killer dog that eerily resembles the current stage of this tech. Enter the Unitree B2W robot dog, made by a company owned by Xingxing Wang, one of 2023 Fortune China's 40 business elites under 40 years old. While clearly based on similar robots for police and industrial use, the Unitree B2W sees 2024 finally catching up to the Black Mirror episode from 2017. What's really scary is that B2W actually looks like a faster, more acrobatic, and potentially deadlier version of Metalhead. While the B2W isn't armed like Metalhead, as it is designed for industrial use, Unitree's real-world innovation is just a couple modifications short of being the superior killing machine to the fictional bot. Indeed, while robotic warfare was predicted by some of the earliest works of sci-fi, Black Mirror pinpointed the actual design that we might soon see on the battlefield. And while Black Mirror is known for predicting the future of tech, the show has also foretold events mainly in the socio-political sphere. In the first season 6 episode, Joan is Awful, a woman named Joan finds out that a television program is telling the story of her life, as it is happening in real time. Eventually, Joan faces the culprit, an AI-powered quantum computer owned and operated by the streaming service Streamberry. This computer allows Streamberry to produce Joan is Awful on the fly, realized through CGI, and informed by personal data that Joan had legally signed away. This episode first streamed on June 15th, 2023, and almost exactly 1 month later, the SAG-AFTRA strike began on July 14th, 2023. Notably, one of the strikers' key demands is to attain protection from AI tools, which threaten to replace creatives in the entertainment industry today. Joan's case in the Black Mirror episode may be exaggerated, but it's exactly the type of problem that SAG-AFTRA hopes to prevent AI from causing. To be fair, however, this may have been less of a straightforward prediction, and more of Black Mirror's creators being inspired by industry whispers. Even then, it didn't stop viewers from making comparisons to Joan is Awful when the writer's strike broke out in July 2023. Conversely, this next item is an undeniable prediction by a very early episode of Black Mirror. But before we continue, a trigger warning is in order. The next part of the video discusses bestiality, otherwise known as humans engaging in sexual acts with animals. Over a decade since Black Mirror's pilot episode first streamed in 2011, everyone who saw the national anthem is still struggling to erase it from their memory, so we apologize for bringing it up again here. And if you somehow haven't seen this episode, this is your last chance to turn away. The pilot was about the UK's Prime Minister being forced to have sex with a pig to completion on live TV. Should the Prime Minister refuse to do this horrible act, terrorists who had kidnapped a princess threatened to end her life. About 6 years after season 1 streamed, the book Call Me Dave, the unauthorized biography of David Cameron, made similar allegations against the then Prime Minister. In a massive scandal now known as Piggate, authors Michael Ashcroft and Isabel Oakeshott claimed that Cameron once inserted his penis into the mouth of a dead pig. Moreover, Cameron allegedly performed this act during his initiation ceremony for the Piers Gaveston Society. In an interview with Black Mirror creator Charlie Brooker via The Guardian in 2015, Brooker claimed that it's a complete coincidence, albeit a quite bizarre one. According to Brooker, I probably wouldn't have bothered writing an episode of a fictional comedy drama if I'd known. I'd have been running around screaming it into traffic.
They'll be asking for £1 million or something.
They want him to do it with a pig.
Are there any other big Black Mirror predictions that we forgot to include? Tell us in the comments and keep watching ScreenRant.